If you watched my previous video, which is like an hour long, um, I ran into some issues related to the streams and how the broadcasts are working. Things weren't working quite right, and it turns out that I kind of ran into a bug, and so that changes some of the advice that I talked about on what to do and how to do things. So I want to go over that really quick. Um, so what I have in this app is I have a single subscription to the schedule stream, and then what I had done is when you clicked on the different activities, it would open up a stream for each of the activities. So in theory, that seemed like a good idea, but in practice, what I learned was that when jumping between resources and relationships, each of those were opening the same stream to this activity. And so what that meant was over time, those were causing collisions where it wasn't unsubscribing properly and it wasn't resubscribing. Um, and also it wasn't closing those connections. And so if I added an activity relationship, for example, I might visibly show three or more relationships pop in here, even though if I were to jump back to it and forth, it would show only one. Um, so I think maybe just maybe it isn't mature enough, or it doesn't know if it's already that it's already connected. So maybe in the JavaScript, when it sees that, it tries to. I don't know really what's happening, but my guess is that it's not closing and opening it properly. So the workaround was for me just to migrate just to one stream. So if you have turbo frames, you don't want to open up individual streams in those turbo frames. You'll want to move the streams up further in the stack of your interface. So in this case, I have one stream for the whole overall schedule, and I foresee that what people will do is they'll have a stream open for a user, like a user stream where the error messages will, for that user, will come through their stream into their interface. Whereas, if you're in a data set that's shared by multiple people, you'll be streaming to that. So, so what I did was I retooled both the streams here instead of streaming to an activity, it now streams to the overall schedule. And so that also means is that I had to retool how some of the stuff was flowing through. Let's see if I can get to that. Okay, so like right here, I used to just have activity resources, and now what I'm doing is I'm saying activity and then pulling in the activity ID for that resource, or the resources for that activity, and then this will be the unique identifier for when that broadcast comes through. It knows to put it here. Um, so the best solution is probably to set up a user-specific stream and then stream their errors only to them. Otherwise, if it's an update to a shared data set, then like I'm doing here, broadcast just to that activities resource list. Now, I've done the same thing for the resource errors, but later on, what I need to do is really make a user-specific stream for error messages, so only that user sees the appropriate error messages. So to do that, what I did, so I just want to show you that really quick under the um, activity resources. I have the same hooks, but instead of doing broadcasting to the activity, now I'm broadcasting to the schedule, and the target has been tweaked slightly to tweak to that scope, just to that specific activities resource list. Okay. Um, so there's going to be some fine tuning, I think, with this whole process as people get more used to the idea. So this is one of those things that I've come to the conclusion with. Um, so going back to the error, I used to have the turbo stream from here in this line, and this is the let's see, This is the resources index. So the relationships had a very similar setup. Um, and so they were both connecting to the same stream. So jumping back and forth, it would work, and then it wouldn't work, and then all of a sudden I would have a bunch of extra streams, and it would just be chaos. So just keep that in mind. I don't think that process is fault tolerant. Um, the general tab that I had, I didn't really open up a new stream. I was really just focusing on broadcasting this back here. Now, what I probably will have at some point is maybe better error messages here that use the stream process to rather than doing a refresh to display the errors. So that's kind of something that I've been thinking about is like, okay, well, how do I um, maybe show some inline errors underneath, like highlighting and have it programmatically go through and highlight what it needs to and underline. Um, so there's some different options there. So, anyways, I wanted to share. I think that's going to be a common issue that people are going to run into, where they just think that they can put those turbo stream from tags anywhere they want. So, if you're going to have something that's going to be refreshing constantly or can refresh frequently, that's not where you want to put your stream from. You're going to want to put it outside of that. So on an index page might be okay, as long as that index page is not contained within something else. You could put your stream there. So, anyways, I appreciate it, and hopefully this was useful to you because I kind of struggled with it. I'm still kind of working through this, just like you guys are. So hopefully this is useful, and I appreciate you.